Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. We got a really interesting one for you today. We're going to start with Nvidia, and then after that we're going to get into a couple of trade setups that I really think is actually a great time to enter for a short position. And it's also going to show us where I think the beginning of the next leg down in the market is and why. So let's just start with Nvidia. Now, we talked about Nvidia. We're liking it as a short because of how overbought it is, but we're being patient on it and we're waiting for the indicators to really show that confirmation. The reason why we're not in it right now is because we're over this ripster cloud right here. Now you can enter a short while you're still over the ripster cloud, but it does just like to kind of show at least where the overall trend is. And as you see that thin out, if this price action comes closer to the ripster cloud, you'll see the cloud start to thin out, and that's showing weakness. But right now we're still in a strong uptrend, and we are above these two moving averages right here, and we want to enter a short position once those cross and once the price action is below those moving averages. So we'll show you right here. You can see the price action went up and over and then crossed back down below both of them, and as we were under this ripster cloud right here, we had the continuation of the downtrend, and then you could exit your short position right over here where they cross and the price action starts to move back up above it. But let's just go through the checkpoint or the rest of the checklist here. So we have the TSI right here, and it's still in a blue uptrend, but it is starting to kind of inflect down. Now, what's really interesting about this one is we have a higher high on the TSI, a higher high on the TSI, and it looks like it just barely was a lower high, but for all intents and purposes, you can just consider this like a double top. And if this goes down, if this continues to go down next couple of days, and this cloud starts to roll down in the TSI to a red cloud, that is a lower high on the TSI, and that's pretty bullish, or excuse me, that's pretty bearish as far as going short. So that'd be a good sign to go short if you're looking there. And then lastly, we talked about also in the previous videos where there could potentially be just a final push to go towards this previous high. And especially if you're trading crypto, you will notice that a lot of times when you're reaching a previous high, it's going to fall just short of that. It's not going to meet it perfectly. And that's because as you're approaching that previous high, other people are going to sell out, and you could very easily move and lose momentum before you actually get to that point. So the other trades that I want to bring up right now, first of all, is Visa. So it's a ticker symbol V. Now, whoops, I still got the trend line on there, so let's just get rid of that quick. All right, now let's zoom out a little bit, and you can see, first of all, a couple of things. One, this big impulsive move down and actually crossed below this ripster cloud. So even though it's in a green uptrend with this ripster cloud right now, it is very likely that, given the fact that we had this impulsive move, that this is going to start thinning out and act as a resistance. Second point is the price action is below these two moving averages. Now, the moving averages have not crossed, but it is very likely that they're going to cross in the next couple of days, even probably by tomorrow. So at close tomorrow, you could expect these two, and it might just hang out a little bit, especially if we have a green day, but the next couple of days, you can expect them to cross. And if you bring up the TSI right now, you can see that we tried to regain that uptrend on the TSI, and it just failed, and we're in a downtrend on the TSI, so that is good for going short. And then if you bring up the histogram right here, you can see that we tried to recover, and then just big impulsive move, and I expect more of that downturn to come. Now let's just bring up MasterCard real quick. And that is ticker symbol MA. And again, a huge impulsive move, and it tried to recover a little bit. We hit the low about 370, reached up to about 373 at close, but that is still a huge impulsive move. Almost the same deal as far as the moving averages. They have not crossed. There's a little bit more of a gap here between the two, but again, I would expect them to, cross in the next couple of days if this trend is to continue. And again, on the TSI, let's bring that up. You have the same deal, and even more clear. Now we just have this almost looks like a next leg down. And like Nvidia, it's a lower high on the TSI. And then if we bring up the histogram, same deal, right? So tried to move up and just failed, and now it looks like we're kind of going into the next leg down. And you can see mostly for the histogram there are some little fake outs here, so you do have to be careful, but for the most part you do generally have a couple of days where you're just seeing either a red or green if you're in the green histogram. So what I want to get to is a couple things. I mean, for one, as far as like credit card companies and everything in that part of the sector, it shows consumer spending. And, you know, when you're looking for a recession or looking to even just cool down the market, which is what the Fed is trying to do, you want to see, unfortunately, you want to see savings decrease and spending decrease, and you want to see almost like a squeezing of the economy to your average person. And that's what MasterCard and Visa is. You know, the bigger spenders will typically go to Amex generally, or at least people that have American Express are usually higher income, and you actually don't see these big impulsive moves right here. So as far as the big money, you know, they're the ones that mainly are moving these prices. Retail kind of just follows. They're selling it right now. So I think it is a pretty decent or safe bet under this setup for a trader, in my opinion, to start entering shorts right here. And you can have a stop out at this next high right here. You know, the previous little high right there was at 392.94, so you can set a stop loss comfortably above that. You got to be careful again because you know, the big guys like to stop people out and then go to that leg down. So it is possible that they could bounce this up again and then head back down. But for all intents and purposes, everything is starting to show the very beginning signs of a downtrend on these credit card companies, and it could show an overall trend of what maybe the S&P 500 or the triple Q's NASDAQ is going to show next. So that's just my opinion. You know, like every other stock trader out there, I'm just giving my opinion. Trade safely. If you like this video, the easiest thing you can do to help out the channel is to hit the like button. If you want to see more of my content, hit the notification bell, hit the subscription button so you can see all of my latest content. Until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks.